Hi guys. So we've got to Wednesday, and what happened today? There was a few witnesses called, and one very important witness, which was the state's master witness, KK. Okay, but first off, the state put on the stand Kevin Hoyland. He is a FBI special agent who worked at the Bureau for 7.5 years, and he was the first witness this morning on the 6th of November 2019. He works for the cellular analyst team, which was created in 2010. The role includes collecting cell data and records and making sense of them in relation to a case. He had about 400 hours of classroom instruction from the FBI and private companies, including phone companies like Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, and others, on this kind of analysis. He said he's certified and renews his certification every year. Holland said he's called upon to analyze core detail records, also called CDRs, almost every single day. He's working on about 500 cases that involved CDR analysts, he said. And goes on to say a Supreme Court ruling in 2018 ruled that CDRs are so accurate they are essentially a tracking device, and thus this is why you require a search warrant, Kevin said. Mr. Holland, Agent Holland. The state has entered multiple Verizon records as evidence. They are the records for 3 phones that he has analyzed, which belong to Berreth, Frazee, and KK. And he developed a PowerPoint for his analysis and presented it to the courts Wednesday. We all call somebody or send a text. Our cell phones look for the towers that can offer the cleanest and clearest signal, he said. It's not always the closest one, which comes into play in the Colorado with the mountains and signals which can throw the cell network out of whack. That's what he said. With that information, he could confidently map when a phone was in a tower's coverage area. Verizon only catches CDR data for calls, not texts. He also noted that the towers have 3 sides, frequently called sectors, and he can use those to find data to learn what direction the phone is in relation to the tower. A range to tower data called RTT data is another type of CDR that can explain how far a phone is from the tower when it connects, he explained. He will keep successful RTT connections for 8 days and then unsuccessful RTT connections, like a dropped call or text that can't send for 30 days. He said that RTT data is often used in rural areas where cell service can be pretty spotty. He also said that Teller County doesn't have a ton of towers, and his analyst is focused on 4 or 5 of them. Rural areas typically have fewer and they're spread apart. The phone user must do something with the device. Send email, make a call, send a text, and more. For him to pinpoint where it was. Holland said he can't tell who is in possession of the phone. Yeah, well, we probably will soon. Yeah. Because, you know, with this fingerprints for ID and face recognition and stuff like that, I think that'll be put in the data soon. Who was using the phone at this moment? There. The face pops up. Yeah. It'll be out soon. Don't worry. He pulled up a slide of an analyst of an unidentified Verizon CDR. It showed the phone number, the second phone number, which phone called which, the call direction, duration, date and time, and the towers and the sectors of those towers that were used. He said he doesn't use a change in cell tower data for analysts. While looking at the CDRs from Berreth's phone, Kelsey Berreth's phone, he learned her phone was on Fraze's account. And the records spanned from November the 21st to November the 25th. The records for his phone were in the same date range. He also gathered the main analyst of KK's phone, Kenny's phone, from November the 23rd to November the 25th. And this would be in the year 2018, last year. When he started to map out Kelsey's records, he noticed her phone travel across Teller County. Then it traveled out of Colorado. Ping! Data, which is different from a CDRs, showed the phone in Gooding, Idaho. He said, pings are only used to find the location of a phone, he explained. And then he goes on to say, Holland brought up a slide of the PowerPoint showing a map and the travel directions of Kelsey's phone and Fraze's phone, starting on the evening of the 21st of November 2018. There is one Verizon tower in Woodland Park, one in Divide and one in Fluorescent, he said. The latter isn't far from the Frazier's Ranch. The record showed they were both in Fluorescent around 9 p.m. on November the 21st. Now, we know Kelsey was in that neighborhood because she said so. Her mother said so. Well, Kelsey might have not said it herself, but her mother said so. And her mother said that she didn't get in till nearly 4 o'clock on the 22nd of November because Kelsey had been with Frazer helping him feed the animals. Now, we're just like, talk about this for a minute. Kelsey's looking up and want to get medicine and give to Frazer, not the animals. She's looking up medication because I think Frazer was feeling sick. He had stomach cramps. He had bloating. He had a lot of stomach issues. And now we know why. Because Pattrick took her out in the middle of the night, and God knows why. And has he done this before? Has she gone out in the middle of the night and took the baby and fed the animals? Well, you know what, this time I think his plan was to murder her that night. He really was. But I think he changed his mind, or something happened, and he couldn't do it. Obviously, he didn't do it because she got back home, because the neighbor's surveillance says so. What time she got home? She got home about 10 to 4 in the morning, so it was around 4 o'clock. So maybe that's why his stomach was knotted up so bad, because we know what his plan was. And maybe, he really was going to do it out on the ranch. And I don't know why he never did. I just don't know why he didn't, rather than do it in her home. He was going to do it, but I just think he backed out. He backed out for some reason, or something happened. So that's just my opinion. But anyway, go on to the cellular mapping. In the next slide, Hoyland, it's not Holland, it's Hoyland, pulled up another map. This one showed the phones traveling south from Fluorescent using a Cripple Creek tower. It shows an RTT data. Verizon drew an arc to show how far away the phone is on that arc. Though they couldn't pinpoint where on the arc it was. All of the arcs, I guess I'm saying it right, ARCS, were unsuccessful RTT connections, he said. Though he used a successful RTT data from another towers. from other towers and was able to use multiple arcs for an X marks the spot type of a finding, he said. The next slide showed the phones moving away from Cripple Creek Tower and towards Nash Ranch, which is about 14.6 miles away, and a 1-908 drop in elevation, he said. He guessed that the radio frequency likely goes over the head of anybody who tries to use a phone at Nash Ranch. So we're learning a little bit here how data works. Yeah, let everybody know. And he also worked to establish facts through evidence included in previously released documents that Berreth may have had Kelsey's phone after her disappearance, or that someone had both of their phones. Pretty smart guy. And then he goes on to say, early in the morning of November the 22nd, the photos traveled away from Nash Ranch together, then east and then north towards Fluorescent and away from Cripple Creek. He said the phone records showed that Berreth and Kelsey's phones interacted with one another several times between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning, in various places, including a tower near Fluorescent, a tower in Divide, and a Woodland Park tower. He said that led him to conclude that Kelsey traveled alone from Fluorescent to Woodland Park, then back to Fluorescent, keeping in line with the story that she got Berreth medicine from Walmart. That was the story. This doesn't sound like they broke up or nothing. They were still in cahoots with each other, you know. Or he was planning to murder her out there. So she went and got him some medication. And she went all the way to Woodland Park, went to Walmart, and then she came back and gave him some medicine for his upset stomach. Which he didn't have an upset stomach, did he? Not from food or anything. You know, it was from his nerves. That we know what he was about to do, but didn't do it until later that afternoon. The two spoke via phone and text later that morning. At 9 a.m. hour. So 9 a.m. in the morning. The next phone usage for both happened around 12:30 p.m. Well, that's when she was kind of meeting up with him to do whatever. And Holland said that the last outgoing from Kelsey that day happened at 12:33 p.m. That's the last time she used her phone. The last day the phone was used. But I don't think that was the last time it was used, because Cheryl said she accidentally rang Kelsey's phone and she got a message saying, I'll call you tomorrow. So anyway, we'll go on. And the next call made by her phone happened the morning of the 24th. Well, that don't make sense right there. I'm missing something here, because he's saying that, but Kelsey's mother said she accidentally called her phone, and then she got a message back saying, "I'll call you in the morning." Well, that's what Cheryl said on the stand, didn't she? Yeah, I remember her saying that. I'm not mixed up. It didn't happen another day. I'm sure Cheryl said that day on the 22nd, because I was thinking that she didn't use her phone anymore. That, like, it was about 2 something in the afternoon that this happened. And I was thinking that because Pattrick and Kelsey were by the doorway around 1 something, 1:30 or whatever, and that's when I said, that's when it happened. They went in the house, he did something, got the candles, but who's to say that happened? Who's to say he blindfolded her and said, "Smell these candles"? I mean, that's coming from KK. That's coming from KK. He could have just shoved her in there and started, but he hit her with a baseball bat. Now, in the surveillance, was there a baseball bat in his hand? But he could have come back a little later. Well, he did come back a little later, or he didn't leave at all. He brought the bat with him. It was right there. He must have got the bat from somewhere. So anyway, I just questioned that one a little bit there. Maybe he missed out something, but I don't even know if anybody caught that one. But anyway, and then Holland said there was no activity with either phone between 12:33 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. on November the 22nd. Yeah, well, I'm going to have to just go back and look what Cheryl said when she accidentally called her phone. And a message came back, "I'll call you tomorrow." I have to go look at that. But anyway, on November the 22nd, like I said, but that Frese's phone utilized the Woodland Park's towers at 4:34 and 4:37 p.m. in a call to KK. So, he called her. He called her after he called his mother. Because remember, he called his mother at about 4:30 or so and told her he's on his way. And then he calls KK. They then went up Highway 24 and connected to the divide at 4:43 p.m. His phone tried to connect to another tower near Florissant around 4:50 p.m. and 40 minutes later, not 40 minutes later, 40 seconds later, Kelseys did as well. So, Frese has Kelsey's phone. His phone is with him, for sure. Because Kelsey never left that home with Berreth. So, there you go, guys. The puzzle is coming together. This man is going down. And this is not looking good. What a shame. But anyway, he carries on saying that the data was consistent in showing that the two phones were traveling together. Yeah, they were married. Not him and Kelsey, the phones. He stole her phone. And he said KK and Berreth's phone connected later that evening. So he called her again that evening, and that Berreth's ranch landline. So he used the landline and called KK's phone. Oh yeah, he stopped using his mobile phone. Think it wouldn't be tracked. But there you go. You can track a landline now, guys. You can track a landline. Well, of course you can. And in a conversation that lasted 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Now, do you think his mother heard any of this conversation? I don't know where his room is, his bedroom, his living quarters. But do you think his mother may have overheard? This is why she's pleading the fifth? She wants immunity? Or wanted it? Because she heard it, or she was involved with it somehow. But maybe she heard it. That's what I'm thinking. So they have a 45-minute conversation. And then he goes on and says, 10 p.m. hour, Kelsey and Berreth's phone again appeared to be on the move. They're on the move, guys. The phones are on the move. 10 p.m. He said the next morning, November the 23rd, there were calls from Berreth's phone to Kelsey in the Berreth ranch sector, and that he believes the phones were still together. Sure they were. Of course they were together at that time. Around 2 p.m., both phones utilized a tower in Westcliff, and just after 3 p.m., both phones connected to a tower in Cripple Creek. That's where he was meeting KK. Yeah, and so this is where they were meeting up. The phones continued to interact with one another for the next few hours before Kelsey's phone stopped having connection, and that was around 5:30 p.m. He testified. Kevin testified to that, the FBI agent. And then he showed KK's phone connecting to various towers between Idaho, and that was around 6 p.m. Now, November the 23rd, all the way down through Salt Lake City, Grand Junction, and into Fluorescent by 6:30 a.m. on the 24th of November 2018. He also showed connections showing her phone leaving the area around 7:30 p.m. on November the 24th and arriving back in Idaho around 10:30 a.m. on November the 25th. After recess and a little break, the prosecutors call Crystal Lee Kenny, KK. And now she takes the stand. Crystal Lee Kenny, known as KK to most of us, because can't stand her name, she told authorities that Frizze asked her multiple times to kill Kelseys Berreths, and then he demands her to clean up the mess and help him dispose of the body. Yeah. So she's on the stand at 11 a.m. Wednesday, the 6th of November. And she is the state's key witness of the disappearance of Kelseys Berreths on Thanksgiving Day 2018. KK appeared tense. She wore a sweater with a collared shirt and had her hair in a braid. The lead prosecutor, Jennifer Veman, asked KK, said she has lived in Hanson, Idaho for 10 months. She grew up in Idaho, she said. She met Frizze when she attended the Teller County Fair while working at a guest ranch in Lake George in 2006, she said. She was 20 years old at the time. She described him as tall, handsome, and a pretty good dude. She said she visited him in Colorado 10 times that year, and they talked on the phone almost every day. They took weekend trips since she was in nursing school and working 3 to 4 part-time jobs. KK said she would drive to see him often, but there were times when he wouldn't call for days at a time. Fancy that. Fancy that. The last time she came to visit was August 2007. That month, he asked her to go pick up some things for him on his property, and while she did so, she said it was not pleasant. This was expanded upon. Between that day and a few months later, Frizze would call her and she wouldn't answer, she said. At one point, she caved and talked with him. Yeah, because he kept on calling and harassing you, because he's a stalker and he's a nutter. Yeah, well, so are you. My opinion. And while they remained friends, they didn't talk often. Now, in September 2007, KK started dating another man named Chad Lee. This Chad she would marry. KK said Fraze knew about Lee because he had the password to her voicemail and had listened. See? What did I tell you? He's a stalker. Now how did he get her password? He got her password and he could listen to all her messages. I wonder how many guys she was dating at the same time. You know, just saying. Did that make him angry? We don't know. But he nicked her passwords. How about that? And listen to her voicemails. And he had listened to one of Lee's messages. She said she couldn't remember why she gave Fraze her voicemail password. Well, why did you dumbass blonde? No pun intended, but dumb. You don't even hardly know the man. And he don't even answer your calls. He doesn't speak for days. But anyway, she was young. If it was because he asked for it, or if she wanted him to see she was loyal to him. Oh yeah, she was loyal. Oh yeah. Well, he must have asked for it. Or he must have been one jealous guy and demanded it. You know, you're both the same age, so you're both young. In December 2008, Fraze said he wanted to buy her a border collie. He said he had bought a dog in Texas that came with a puppy that he didn't want, so he offered it to KK. She said she also knew he raised them, along with the other ranch animals. When she went to Colorado to pick up the dog, Fraze told her she had to make a choice between him and Lee. At the time, KK said she knew he was dating another woman. How about that? See, what did we say about cheaters? Cheaters. See, he's a cheater. Now he thinks she's cheating. And now he don't like it because he's cheating. So this is when I go back to Fraze's mama, and she thinks Kelsey's a ho-ho-ho. This is why. Because of her son. See what I mean? Yeah, we knew that puzzle would come together. We're right on the point here. We're right on the point. She said he told her, you can't ride two horses at the same time. Yeah, I bet he can't neither. So you need to make a choice. When Jennifer asked why Fraze would believe he was one of those horses, KK said he could probably tell that she still had feelings for him. Oh yeah. Yeah, of course he did. She said, though tears on the witness stand, that she'd never felt that kind of chemistry before. He never talked about his feelings to her. No, he wouldn't. He looks that kind of guy. Bottles up all his emotions and feelings because he is a killer, in my opinion. Fraze, and then, you know, remember last year, the statements that came out that Kelsey believed that he had killed before. Yeah. So Fraze told her to make a decision by March 2009, he said. But KK stayed with Lee. We know she stayed with Lee, and she thought she'd made the right decision, and she married Chad. Also lived on a ranch. He knew about her relationship with Fraze when they started dating, KK said. In April of that year, Fraze called asking for payment for the puppy he'd given her the previous December. See? That's why he gave her the dog. So we could call her back up and bother her. Now he's asking for money. He's asking for money. Now he's trying to blackmail her. He said the mother dog was going back to its owner in Texas. When KK didn't send a check, he called again in May and said that he told her if she didn't send the money, he'd come to kill the dog. See, it's already started. He's doing a lot of killing. See, told you he's a killer, didn't I? I said he's a killer. He's killed lots of things, I'm telling you. She said she started crying on the phone because his comments upset her. They didn't have much contact after that conversation, she said. In July 2010, she became engaged to Lee. Around that time, she talked with Fraze on the phone, where she apologized for not sending the check. So she still had to go back and call him, right? She still had to call him. He called her, she called him, but explained that she was mad at him for not keeping promises, she said. She said Lee told her they'd be done if she sent the money to Fraze. She didn't hear from Fraze again until October the 1st, 2010, the day before the wedding to Chad. And then he left a voicemail telling her not to get married and that he should have come to rescue her. Oh yeah, a knight in shining armor on his bloody horse. Yeah. Well, KK explained that while she didn't call him back, she felt conflicted. Lee felt like the right choice, but she felt in her heart that she was in love with Fraze. Yeah, he's an abusive man. You're in love with an abusive man. I don't know how Lee was, but we haven't heard nothing too bad about him, or nothing at all. She started to cry on the witness stand again. Fraze looked straight down. He was looking down. She went forward with marrying Lee. KK said she didn't hear from Fraze until 2013 or 14 in the forms of texts. Around that time, she sent him a message asking how he was doing. By this time, she had a son in 2012 and a daughter in 2014. When the daughter's name was mentioned in court, Fraze looked up at KK. KK said the next time she and Fraze spoke to one another was when she visited the National Western Stock Show in January 2013. But she said the messages were brief, and she said they did not talk for a while after that. And then she goes on and says she had not seen Fraze in person since 2008. In person. She told Jennifer, the prosecutor, that she had and Fraze did not speak over the phone until 2015. When she and her husband were having difficulties with their relationship, she texted Fraze while she was at a nursing conference in Texas, and Fraze told her she could call him anytime and that he'd loved to hear from her. He would love to hear from her. Yeah. Afterward, KK said they began to talk more frequently. She planned a trip to Colorado to see the family and friends, and she called Fraze in 2015. He asked her to come look at some heifers. Heifers. God. Yeah. And they met up at the gas station in Florissant to do so. It was like nothing had changed. Still the same giddy feeling. She told the court, acknowledging she still had feelings for Fraze at the time. She said Fraze told her he felt the same way and that they had both grown up since they last were together. Yeah, they'd grown up, okay. And then she told the court that the two had an affair on that visit, which happened around October 2015. They continued to talk over the phone, she said, nearly every day. She said she continued to see him into 2016 and visited him in person as he encouraged her to get a divorce. He encouraged her to get a divorce. In February 2016, she asked an attorney to draw up divorce papers and told Fraze about it. She said he discussed wanting to have a family together and talked about her being the one who got away. He's a man of many words, isn't he, Fraze? But she said she had some reservations because of her relationship with her husband and that she was not convinced he wouldn't cheat on her. You got that done right. But she did not file the papers at the time, despite Fraze's encouragement. That March, she learned she was pregnant and that Fraze was the child's father. She testified Wednesday that she said she thought it would make her happy, but it didn't, and that she worried about having a child out of wedlock. She worried about having a child out of wedlock. Wait a minute. How would that be? You're still married, so you wouldn't be having a baby out of wedlock. Unless you were divorced by the time the baby would have been born. Just thought I'd just throw that one in there. But she said she asked Fraze what to do. And he responded, I guess you're a baby killer. See, here's the word again, killer. Killer is coming a lot in their conversations. Yeah, or you're not hinting at an abortion. She said that she cried at Fraze's reaction, but went through with an abortion. But she told Fraze she had a miscarriage. I wonder what he was thinking. I bet he wanted to kill her then. Yeah. I wonder what he was thinking. She just threw that one in his face. Yeah, good one. Good one. But don't think you're going to get any emotion out of him, because he don't care. And she also told him that she'd filed the divorce papers but worried about her other children. She eventually filed in May 2016 after speaking more with Fraze and testified, Wednesday, that he had no reaction and that they didn't talk again until October 2017. In late October 2017, Freze texted her asking if she still liked her kids. Yep, here it comes. She said, he then called her and they spoke for about 2 hours. But she said he mentioned nothing about having a child of his own or about Kelsey. But she said she felt happy to connect with Freze and they began to talk again. In March 2018, she testified she came to Colorado and met up with Freze to shoe horses and look at the land. Did they go to some country walk or something? To look at the land. They went to dinner afterwards, Kelsey said, and at no point did Freze mention Kelsey or their daughter. She returned to Colorado again at the end of June 2018 to meet with the former co-workers and eventually Freze. Here we go, Freze again. But he blew her off at first before answering a call to his landline, at which time they agreed to meet up so she could help fix a fence. Gee, he's getting all these women to help him out with his heifers, his pigs, his ranch, his cattle, his dogs. Yeah. While they were doing so, he mentioned how nice it would be to have a son to help. And at one point, handed her a baby wipe, which to blow her nose, though she thought little of it. Okay, a man with baby wipes. She went and had a meal with him. Not with him, but she went to have a meal with one of her former bosses, who asked her what she thought about the fact that Freze had a daughter. She said that her jaw hit the floor as he described how great of a dad Freze was and about how Freze didn't have help. But Kenny said she didn't verbalize the surprise she felt, as no one was aware she and Freze were talking again. After the meal with her boss, her ex-boss, one of her bosses, she left Freze a message saying the meeting had gone well. He called her back and they talked about ranches. The ranch, here comes the ranch, and children. Yeah, he's getting to see if she will take on Kaylee. Yeah, he's getting around to it. Yeah, he's getting around to it. He wants another mother for his child. And then he didn't say anything about his daughter. So this carries on. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. She's telling us her life history, from way back when she was 20. She's at least 33 now. So they take a little break and they come back again. Now she's back on the stand again. She told the court that she returned to Colorado in August to pick up a horse her aunt had purchased. She testified earlier that she had gone in with Freze and the two purchased a horse in July, although she said Freze didn't accompany her to Kansas to pick up the horse. No, he wouldn't. Man, he's not going to help you do nothing. You got to help him. You're his hired help, remember? Yeah. During the August trip, KK came down and loaded the horses and rode one of them. Oh, poor blinking horse. You know, the heifer. At one point, she handed him a bag of baby items and told him, I know, referring to his and Berreth's daughter. He said, it wasn't the time to talk about it. During their time together, KK said Frazee didn't really talk about his daughter. She said he would talk about protecting the innocent. Protecting the innocent. This man's crazy. You know he is. When his daughter was brought up in the pair's conversations. But she said that changed in early September when Frazee sent KK a photo of his daughter, Kaylee. The first time. She testified that she had seen a photo of the girl. So she's seen Kaylee. She said she felt she was being pawned. Pawned. Yeah, if you want to call it pawned. After sharing the photo, KK said Frazee began talking to her about Kelsey, referring her only as the mother of my child and not by her name. She was still in the dark as to the true nature of the relationship between Frazee and Kelsey. During those conversations, Frazee told KK that Kelsey was abusing. It says abusing Kelsey, but I think he meant that Kelsey is abusing Kaylee. They've made a misprint there. According to her testimony, KK said Frazee told her that Kelsey was careless with the baby gate, allowing it to fall on Kelsey. See, they've made another spelling mistake. It shouldn't be Kelsey, it should be Kaylee, the daughter, the baby. He also told her about an alleged incident where he said Kelsey intentionally slammed the fridge door on Kaylee's hand and Frazee had to take the child to the emergency room. Yeah? Okay. Well, there'd be records there, wouldn't there? You know, there'd be records that she had been to see a doctor. Yes, there would be. Easy to look it up and see what really happened. Anything can happen. Maybe the little baby, she shut the fridge and the baby had the hand in it. I mean, or it didn't happen at all. But anyway, she testified that later understood that Frazee and Kelsey were engaged and in an active custody battle for, well, they put Kelsey again. They mean Kaylee, the baby. Boy, I'm going to have to write to these people. They can't get their story straight here. So, after witnessing ordered exchanges of the child at the police station, after witnessing ordered exchanges of the child at the police station. That's what she said. That's what it's saying. So, who ordered exchanges of a baby at the police station? When did that happen? Because he went to Kelsey's home and got the baby and was at the house. So that's what she said. That's what she said yeah, I guess it sounds like she witnessed it. But anyway, she goes on to say Frazee never showed his daughter in the photos of the alleged abuse taken by Kelsey, only the ones he had taken. She said he then asked her if she was willing to do anything to protect the innocent, and started opening up about the alleged abuse by Kelseys Berreths of their daughter. She told the courts, she told him to report it to the Child Protective Services, which he said he had done, but claimed it wasn't taken seriously. Well, that can be proven if you had spoken to anybody. They would take notice because, number one, they would send somebody out, wouldn't they? Well, yes, they would. Yes, they would. And if you thought your baby was being abused, you can call the police too, and they would go out and bring a social worker with them or something like that. You're just lying. Right. She goes on to talk about the coffee plan. So the prosecutors said that the beginning in October, Frazee started asking about what needed to be done. What would happen if somebody took too much of a sleeping aid or any other drug? See, that's what I told you about the sleeping aid. Give her something in her drink and make her sleepy. And she told him that if someone mixed Ambien with Valium, it would hurt them. And she goes on, Frazee told her his daughter was in immediate danger and that he had to do something. Oh my God. Really? She already had plans to go to a birthday party in Greeley, and that Frazee said she should come down to check out a horse trailer. At the same time, she testified he told her Berreth liked caramel manchitos and she should spike one with the drug, with a cocktail. A drug cocktail. So we can end this. Yeah. People go missing every day. She had gone to an alcohol and drug rehab facility. This is what he's telling her. It wouldn't be out of the ordinary, Frazee told her, claiming Berreth had been in rehab in August. Yeah? Was she? Well, that wouldn't be hard to prove, and which clinic she was in. After the party in Greeley, she told her aunt she wanted to swing by and see a friend. Oh, she wanted to swing by and see a friend, which was Kelsey in Woodland Park. See, she took her aunt with her, and then this woman comes up missing. Her aunt must have been thinking, God, that's KK's friend. Let me call KK up and tell her all about her friends gone missing. You know, something like that. Yeah, well, she probably did think that. Yeah, she did. Yeah, she probably did. And she probably spoke to KK about it. You know your friend that you went to visit? She's come up missing. Oh, she's got a little baby girl. Yeah. And then KK said she was unaware of the plot to poison Kelsey with the coffee. She was unaware of the plot to poison Kelsey with the coffee. Now she's unaware of that one. Okay, so she's unaware of that, and she just takes her the coffee instead. They met up, and Freze showed her a photo of Kelsey. She already had Kelsey's address from a prior conversation, obviously with Freze. After they looked at the trailer, KK told her aunt she needed to run a coffee to a friend. He wanted Kelsey not to be a problem anymore, saying she took that as Freze wanting Kelsey dead. She took that. So at this time, he didn't say, I want her dead. He said he wants the problem gone. She said she bought a drink from Starbucks in Woodland Park. Yeah, I bet they got cameras in that one too, Starbucks. And she was driven by her aunt to Kelsey's home. Once there, she got out of the truck, and her aunt stayed inside of the truck. She said the meeting with Kelsey happened around 9 p.m. How did she know she was going to be in? And it was dark. It was dark too, I assume. She described Berreth as guarded. Yeah, that's what I would have thought. Yeah, remember? I would have been like, what? So she was a little on edge. You know what I mean? Somebody's knocking on your door at 9 o'clock at night. It wasn't even in the day. It's 9 o'clock at night. Now, what's your first thought? A woman just knocking on your door at 9 o'clock at night and brings you your favorite coffee. Nah, that's creepy, isn't it? Yeah. I bet she wishes she had her gun. And they made small talk about finding a dog. Oh, that was her excuse. About finding a dog. But she brings her Starbucks coffee and then says, no, she sounds like a blinking pervert in the park with his dog trying to lure kids away or something. Now, she sounded like a pedophile right there. You know, ugh. But she did not put no drugs in the drink. But she offered it to Kelsey, and she tried to get a feeling for her to see if Freze was being truthful. They talked about where they were from. Kelsey said she had moved there because Freze and the baby. They made more small talk, and before Kelsey took the coffee. So that's when she handed over the coffee. This is when KK became emotional during this testimony, saying she didn't want to hurt Kelsey and hoped Freze would be relieved nothing happened to her. But he wasn't. She said he called the next morning after she left back to Idaho, aggressively asking her what happened. She told him Kelsey must not have drunk the coffee. She didn't drink the coffee. So more or less, she's not telling Pattrick that she didn't put the drugs in it. Oh my God. The next plan takes shape. And this is after the trip. She felt Frazee wasn't assured about his reasoning for getting rid of Kelsey. As she testified, she said he told her that this kind of stuff happens all the time. Oh yeah? But she was too sheltered to know. Really? She doesn't know there's lots of killings going on in Colorado and all over the world in the United States of America? Get out of here. That's when she said she went to a friend and a supervisor at the hospital who had experience with trauma. She said she told her that a friend had a daughter whose mother was abusing her, and that the friend wanted help killing the mother. She said she showed the friend a photo of Kelsey and Frazee's daughter, and that she felt compelled to do something but not harm Kelsey. The friend told her to document it. And then after KK left, she said, on Wednesday, she texted the friend apologizing and saying she felt stupid for being in the position she was in. KK said she and Frazee then talked about the situation in which she would have the chance to redeem herself. As she says, Frazee put it multiple times over the phone. They would talk over the phone because Frazee didn't want anything in writing. Yeah, well, you're talking on the phone. That is just as good as writing. And it's just as good as a handprint, fingerprint, any print. Oh my God. So he says, he's hounding her, I guess, calling her up and coming up with more ways to get rid of Kelsey. And he said he needed the problem taken care of, claiming alleged abuse of their daughter, that Kelsey was abusive to her. And it's increasing. It's getting worse. You know how the story goes? He's sounding off to KK that his daughter might be in danger. So that just goes on. I mean, this testimony is going on and on and on. When she was back in Colorado, she said she tried to show Frazee she was not capable of killing Kelsey. Eventually, he said he grabbed a pipe, handed it to her, and said to make sure there wasn't a lot of blood by hitting Kelsey in the back of the head, like he does his animals, I guess. He told her to make sure no one sees her. She said she believed that conversations happened on October the 15th, 2018. She also said that Frazee told her that it's not that hard, and said that other friends of his that could have killed Berreth were too close to the situation. She went to Berreth's townhome and sat there for a moment. She was terrified. When she opened her car door, a dog barked. So she said she drove back to the Frazeys' ranch, dropped off the pipe, and slept in a gas station parking lot. The next morning, KK said Frazee called her asking what happened, to which she said there were too many people around and she couldn't do it. While Frazee was working that day, she said she took care of Berreth's and Frazee's daughter. And then she said Frazee got back. He criticized her performance of certain tasks on the ranch, which is when KK said she realized that Berreth was probably doing nothing wrong. She said Frazee told her she had one more chance, asked her if she had a bat, and told her to swing away. She then goes on, she drove to Berreth's home yet again, got out of the car with the bat and sat on the ground at Berreth's, and Frazee exchanged their daughter elsewhere. What? She said she feared it was going to be her. It was going to be her or me. Yeah, we knew that was coming. Yeah, we knew that was coming because you said once that kids go missing in the park. He's threatening you. So now it's her or you. So let it be her, I guess. You know, it didn't have to be either one of you. If only you had contacted the police. She said she got back in the car and drove towards Fluorescent, passing Berreth along the way. She met back up with Frazee and told him she couldn't kill Berreth and wouldn't do it, she said. And she claimed Frazee continued to tell her that if anything happened to his daughter as a result of Berreth, it would be her fault. You see, it would be her fault if anything happened. See? He's putting all the blame on her because he wants her to kill her because she's the one that be going to prison, not him. He would just say she's some jealous girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. That's what he would have claimed. Not saying she ain't to blame, she surely is. But, you know, his mind games. She said he also continued to threaten her, claiming he said at one point that her ex-husband was a really good dad and would be okay on his own. She said that she got out of the car and slammed the door. She said he told her to put Berreth's body in a garbage can and take her to Idaho and figure something out. Why is it all her fault? Why has she got to do the dirty deed? Exactly. Because he doesn't want to go down. He wants his baby. He wants her gone. And he, of course, he don't want to go to prison, does he? You know? And all this time, Frazee was looking down as she continues. KK was asked a question about if she called the police by saying she'd not, because why she didn't call the police, and she said she did not because she figured Frazee had a plan to make a plot the plot to fall back on her if she didn't follow through. So now he's already got her at the home. He's got her going there 2 or 3 times. He's got her with the phone. He's got her with her car keys, maybe the gun. He's telling her to get rid of it. It's pinging in Idaho. She's in Colorado. He's already got her, see? And now she's gone missing. It looks like she was the one that made her vanish, and she would be on the radar and not him. But of course it's all backfired because she got caught and investigated and she was questioned. They tracked her down. They tracked her down. And of course she lawyered up right away and said she would tell it all and she will testify against him. Now this is the part where he calls her and tells her she has a mess to come clean up. See, he's got her coming to the house again to clean up the mess. This is her testimony. She went back to Idaho, but on November the 4th, she said, Frazee called her and said that was the weekend for her to come back and commit the murder. But she was in the car with the family and said she couldn't talk. He called her back half an hour later, she said, and again said it was time. She said she looked up flights, but they were too expensive and told Frazee she couldn't. She says she then didn't hear from him again until November the 21st. The 21st, he called her up again. She said he called her to talk and that they had a fairly normal conversation, but didn't mention his Thanksgiving plans. She then goes on to say that he called her again early the morning of November the 22nd, but she didn't answer. He texted her Happy Thanksgiving and said to call him, which she did. She goes on to say at one point he told her to answer her effing phone. She said he called again several times later that day while she was having Thanksgiving with her family and said he sounded rattled. He told me I have a mess to clean up. She said she had never heard him that rattled, like a snake that he is. She asked him about the mess. She said, and he asked her how soon she could get to Colorado, but she said she wasn't sure, that he told her to figure it out and hung up. This is weird, isn't it? You know, like she's to blame for it all. He seems like he's putting all the blame on her now. You know, just the way she's saying it. She said he called again the next day to see if she had a plan. She said she believed at the time that Frazee had either killed Berreth or was setting her up. Yeah. She said he complained about Kelsey taking a while to get his medication. My God. I bet Kelsey had a whale of a time with him. You know, she probably couldn't do no right things in his head. He probably put her down and bitched at her. She couldn't do nothing right. She can't even be on time. She's taking too long. She can't do nothing right. And then she told him she wasn't sure if she could make it down to Colorado that day because she was supposed to work that weekend. But she changed her shift and called her friend and asked if it was okay to take her car to Colorado. And her friend said yes. They swapped cars at the Walmart in Jeremiah, Idaho, how you say it. And then she went home and grabbed her supplies and clothes and left. Boy, she didn't waste much time when he asked her to come on down, and she said she's got to work. But she soon got a shift change, though, didn't she? It's like she ran to him. She dropped everything for him and ran to him. At his beck and call. And then she told the court she talked to Frizzy on the way down through Salt Lake Grand Junction, Breckenridge, and into Florissant. I'm probably saying that wrong all the time anyway. She said the drive took about 12 hours, that she left around 6 p.m. and arrived around 6:30 a.m. on November the 24th. She said most memorable of the conversations between the two on the drive happened around midnight when she stopped for gas in Wellington. She said that Fuzzy told her she had a lot of blood to clean up, and it was mostly in the living room. And these details were enough for her to know it probably did happen. At first, I didn't believe him, adding that she thought he was trying to get her down to Colorado to commit the murder. She said the midnight conversation made her scared. Yeah? Why didn't you turn around and go the hell home? But she still carried on, okay? She still carried on. She says that Frazee had previously told her something about a month earlier she couldn't get out of her head. When you're in a deep sleep, as I was in, it's not uncommon for little girls to go missing from the playground. She said Frazee left the keys to Berreth's townhome on his gate. She said Frazee gave her enough details about what she needed to do that she believed Berreth was already dead, that she would have to wipe off some candles, make sure the bathroom looked good, and getting the footprints wiped away in the living room. She testified. Just before the court, recessed, KK said that Frazee told her one more thing to look for. Berreth's tooth in the vent. Now, how would he know her tooth was in the vent? How would he know the tooth went in the vent? How would you know that? You're swinging a bat, you're slapping somebody around, you're beating them to death. How would you know where her teeth were flying to? He knocked her goddamn teeth out. Oh my God. I just hope to God that Kelsey was knocked out the first blow. Because if she wasn't, boy, did she suffer trauma to her head. It's disgusting. But this is her testimony. This is what she says he said and did, and asked her to do, and asked her to clean up and look for. And this is where it comes to the cleanup. KK again retook the stand, after the break, and discussed the key part of her testimony. And this is Berreth's alleged murder and cleanup. She said she parked at Woodland Park Cultural Center a little after 7 a.m. She took the cleaning items and trash bags she bought and walked up the sidewalk of Berreth's home. And this is where we think that because the motion detectors didn't catch Frazee in and out and taking her body out, is because he was at the side of the house and it's got a fence to it, and it might have blocked off what he was taking out of the house, or it didn't motion everything. So we missed a little bit, and probably they missed the vital action of Kelsey being taken out of that home. But we know she was taken out of that home. We know she didn't walk out of the home. We knew she don't fly out the house. We knew that, no UFO came and beamed her up. And we know she didn't leave on foot. We know she didn't leave by plane, helicopter, and we know she didn't leave by ambulance, and we know she did not drive any of her vehicles. Yeah. So that's how that was. And then she opened the door and saw a lot of blood on the living room floor and on the walls of the townhome. She said she walked further into the home and found blood splatter on the east wall, on stuffed animals, an exercise ball, a chest, another wall, and on the stove and the dishwasher. She says it wasn't like I can paint thrown. She said it's like paint thrown on the wall or something like that. It was like if you took a paintbrush and flicked paint on the wall. So that's the blood splatter. Yes. She also said she could not help but thinking she was probably next. She said she didn't know Frazee was capable of doing what he allegedly did, and I felt regret that she did nothing to stop it. Yeah, that's right. Because you got caught. You got caught. And that's why you're saying that. Frazee called her and asked her what she thought, and told her to look at certain items in the house when cleaning. She said she hung up, put on her painter's suit. So she didn't get no PPE equipment from the hospital. She went and bought a painter's suit, one of those probably white suits, like they wear at the crime scene. Oh yeah, So she even did that. She dressed up for the occasion too. How nice of her. And she puts on her suit, and I guess she starts cleaning. She's also got covers for her shoes. She had rubber gloves and a hair cover. Wow, she sure knew what to bring, didn't she? For somebody that just asked her to come down, and she had to work, and she already got, and then suddenly she's got all the cleaning supplies that she needs, and she's got this, and she's got that, and she borrowed a car, and she switched her shift just like that. Sound a bit fishy? Yeah. Sounds a bit fishy. But this is her testimony. She told the prosecutors the blood was dry. She said she did not bring any clothes or towels to clean up, so she used rags from the bathroom. She filled an empty spray bottle of bleach. With bleach, and she cleaned as much of the furniture and the floor as she could, but the curtains and stuffed animals couldn't be cleaned, so she used some Berreth trash bags to dispose of them. She also had to put several items into the trash bags. Yeah. A framed photo of Kelsey and Frazee and their daughter also had to be cleaned of blood, she said. She also found a bloody sweater that had the sleeves tied up, but thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, you see, a sweater that had sleeves tied up. Damn, he tied her too. It's like she was ambushed, wasn't she? He made sure she couldn't defend herself. He tied her up. Do you know, I just beginning to think it's not quite happened the way he said it was with the candles. I think that he put a sweater over and tied her so she couldn't defend herself. Yeah, I'm just thinking that. So she followed the bloody footprints up the stairs and found the candles Frazee had mentioned. So the candles were upstairs. The candles? He said, and to clean the candles. She described the footprints as being larger in size and appearing to be boot prints. She said they were all over the kitchen, near the bathroom, and in the bathroom. After cleaning as much as she could, she said the floor was the last object to be addressed. She said it took 4 hours to clean the whole place. When she moved a cedar chest inside, she found the tooth in question. She said she found the tooth. She found the tooth in a cedar chest. Inside? Oh. Do you think he stuffed her in there? but said she was unable to clean all the blood on the fireplace and behind the chest. She did not try to clean it up. When asked why she didn't, she said that she knew the situation was trouble. The situation was trouble. And that she didn't know what was going to happen to her. I left little spots so that somebody would see it, and then it would raise suspicion or question on what happened. Really? You waited till then? She's gone, she's dead. Add in that she hoped police would find the blood. So she wasn't hoping to get away with it then. She was hoping they would find the blood. She also used rags on her hands and knees to mop the floor, and that she ended up with 6 bags of items and cleaning trash. She said she took them outside and put them in the alley next to Berreth's car. Didn't they say her trash, there was a lot of trash out there? Was it inside her house or outside her house that there was a lot of trash? Well, if those cleaning stuff and everything was there, didn't anybody find them? Nobody found them? The trash was picked up already before the police got there? She also said that Frazee called her multiple times as she was cleaning, telling her to clean other certain items. When she was done, she locked the door, loaded the trash bags into her truck. Oh, she took them with her and left. She's got to be on some camera surveillance somewhere, doesn't she? She's got to be. She's got to be. He said Frazee wanted her to make the townhouse look like she had left on her own free will. She said Frazee told her to send certain text messages about looking at horses at certain times after she left, which she did. Also stopped at Sonic and got herself a drink, and Frazee and his daughter lunches. She said and wanted to make herself appear as normal as possible when she saw him. Once she met up with him, she said he asked her, "Did you get it done?" ? She said she replied, "I did the best I could do." To which Frazee allegedly responded, "You better hope you did, because our lives depend on it. Our lives depend on it. If you want a job done, do it yourself." Now, the alleged murder. After they had eaten, KK said Frazee started discussing what happened to Berreth. He told me how hard it was to eat Thanksgiving dinner with my family when the mother of your child is in a tote in the back of your truck. See, guys? I told you guys her body was in the truck. She recounted. She said Frazee went on to say that he thought Berreth would harm their daughter and he needed her to stop her. She said this is where the sweater, she said she picked off the floor, popped back into her memory. The sweater with the tie sleeves. She said that Frazee told her he had bought a baseball bat in under his sweater. He's had it in his sweater. We wondered how he got it in the house, because he wasn't seen coming out of there. So like, how did he get the baseball bat in there? Well, it's in his sweater. And tied the other sweater around Berreth's eyes to play Guess the Scent game with candles. She said that Frazee told her he swung away, but called the method inhumane. Jesus. And said in the future he would stick to the normal weapons. And said in the future he would stick to normal weapons. What's a normal weapon? A gun? A knife? She said that he told her he bought a tote in from the back of his trunk, the back of his truck, after he killed Berreth, and put the bat inside. Then washed his pants and tried cleaning up. See, I told you he washed his laundry. I told you. That's what he did. And he cleaned up. Yeah. She said some of the details of that conversation were fresher when she spoke with the investigators last December. Now we go on to the disposal. KK said while she was at the ranch, she told him she had to go home to Idaho because she needed to be at a birthday party. Now she's saying, I gotta be at a birthday party. That's all she could think of? No, oh my God, I feel sick as a dog. I feel sick as a dog. I'm scared shit. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Yeah, something like that. And most of her family thought she was still in town. She said that on November the 25th, he bought her Berreth's phone and gave her the password. Hold on. Wait a minute. I thought she was gone back to Idaho on the 24th. But anyway, I'll carry on reading it. She said on November the 25th, he bought her Berreth's phone and gave her the password. See, he even knew her password. Telling her to drive back to Woodland Park and text Berreth's mother saying she'd call her the next day. Oh, that's when they made the text message about, I'll call you back the next day. She said she drove by Berreth's home, parked, and sent the text. She then went back to Frazee's ranch, where they again met up. She said he told her they were going to get the tote at Nash Ranch. Nash Ranch. There you go. There's the tote. And once they got there, she said, they used a tractor to retrieve the tote from the top of the haystack. Didn't I tell you guys? I just told you that, guys, in my last video, that he hit her in some hay in a shed. And he hit it up high. Yeah. That's what he did. And he said he had to put it on top of Thanksgiving. That didn't make sense, but it's a bit mumble jumbled there. This is how it reads. It on top of on Thanksgiving and move it to the back of his truck. Right. She said there was a gun nearby, but she never got up on the haystack or the truck bed to look at the tote. They then drove back to his ranch. See, that's what he did. He took her to Nash and then brought her back to the ranch. Yeah, he wasn't going to hide that body on the ranch, was he? No. He hid it where he feeds his animals. The cattle. Yeah. On the way back, she said, Fraze started crying. No, he didn't. You're kidding me. He started crying? Yeah? That wasn't tears for Kelsey. That was tears because he's going down for murder. Yeah, he was scared. Or it was a show, something like that. When they discuss what might happen with his daughter, and he said KK might have to take her. Oh, now KK's gonna take her. Didn't I tell you that earlier? I said he's looking for another mother. Get rid of Kelsey, and you're gonna take care of my daughter. He's looking for another mother. Oh my God. And he told her where his cattle papers were and where the key to his safe was. Why, what's going on? He knew he was going to get caught. He knew he was going to be arrested, didn't he? When they arrived back to the ranch, she said he dragged the tote into a water trough. I told you guys. I told you that, guys, that when it happened, I put a video up of the troughs and I said, this is where he burnt her body. And I got a video of the troughs. And I asked, where is that trough gone? Where is it? Because it would be burnt out. If you had a big fire like that with gasoline and you making sure that was going to burn for hours to make sure that every piece is cremated, you would use a trough to contain a fire. So the trough, and then into the water trough, near what she recalled was the top of the driveway that was filled with wooden pallets. She said he grabbed a multi-gallon gas can, then poured gasoline on top of it, and inside, she said she did not look inside the tote as he opened it because she didn't want to. So he opened it and poured gasoline just like that. Just like that. Let that sink in, guys, because he's disgusting. And they're both disgusting. She said he threw a match into the doused tote and pallets. Yeah, it looked like he'd already got the pallets in the trough and he'd already got that ready. Sounds like he had the gas and everything ready. He had it all ready. which went up in a huge flames. She recalled. She said he put a piece of tin on top of the toad to try and tame the fire, then threw in a bottle of motor oil to the fire would burn hotter. She said he also soaked firewood in the buckets of gasoline, tossed those into the fire, then tossed those buckets as well. She took his trunk to the gas station. His trunk. She took his truck to the gas station where she had left her car, retrieved it, and took it back to the ranch where she left the trash bags. That's what she testified to. She then took Frazee back to his truck, during which time she says he told her that he wanted to make it look like Kelsey disappeared. Yeah, well, she did disappear, and she's vanished, never to be seen again. There is absolutely nothing left of Kelsey, it's sad to say, but we can all use our imagination. He's made sure he cremated her where there's nothing left. There's nothing left. And then she just carries on. During this time, he told her that he wanted to make it look like, like I said, she disappeared, and she needed to take Berreth's phone as far away as possible. And she said Frazee also told her to take Berreth's purse and gun. So he had her gun. He had a gun. And you know what? It's a wonder he probably shot her in the head too. Just to throw that one in. Because God knows. Use your imagination. Oh my God. Anyway. And then she says Frazee told her to drive as far as she could and then text Berreth's employer from Berreth's phone saying she was going to visit her sick grandmother and that she wouldn't be at work. She claimed he also told her to text a man from Berreth's phone saying, "Do you even love me?" Yeah, we read that one. As she drove north back to Idaho, she says Frazee also told her to text him photos from Berreth's phone. She testified that she was wary of the phone pinging and turned Berreth's phone off between Grand Junction and Salt Lake City. But at one point, she said Frazee called her on Berreth's phone. Well, I thought she said she turned it off. But she said that made her uncomfortable and asked him to call her own phone. She sent the "Do you even love me?" text, and then the text to Berreth's boss near Mayland Gorge State Park, Idaho, about 45 minutes from her home, and then shut off the phone. Well, that's when she shut off the phone. She said she drove 5 miles, called Frazee, and told him that it was done. She said she took Berreth's gun to a friend, saying it was a suicidal aunt's, then burnt Kelsey's phone and purse at her home. But I don't even know why she took her purse. Why didn't it get burned in the tote? The gun did, the bat did. I mean, not the gun, but the bat did, and other things. Well, anyway, so she burnt that at her home in Kimberly, Idaho. And she also states that she put the ashes in a silver box, then into a plastic bag, and then she dumped it in the trash bin on her way to work. Just like that. Just like that. And she probably dusted off her hands. Yeah. Yeah. Another job done. Oh God. She said Frazee talked to her a lot on November the 26th. I felt like he was coaching me when I got back to get my, to keep my mouth shut. And she said Frazee told her to stick with the horse story if she was contacted by the police. But she said she was worried. She was well, I don't think she was really worried. At this time she was. At this point, I think she's starting to freak out. But, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it because she did everything. And then after cleaning up the house and driving down there and burning the body and everything like that, and she still could eat. They still could eat a meal. They probably had the meal while they were around the campfire. I'm not being mean, but do you know what I mean? They look like they're out, roasting marshmallows. How blah, blah, blah. And the next day, Frazee called her a few more times and told her, like I said, stick to the story. And then she said Frazee called her on the 2nd of December, saying Berreth's mother wanted him to check on her daughter, and that news report showed her phone pinged near Goodin, Idaho. He told her to keep cool, she said. On December the 3rd, KK testified Frazee called her to say he had an attorney that told the attorney that Berreth had wanted space and wanted to keep custody of their daughter. The same story he told Berreth's mother. And this is where it comes into the FBI calls. And this is where KK cooperates with the FBI. No, it wasn't long after. No, 11 days. KK states that he would call her every day until December the 4th. On that day, she said, Frazee called one of her family members and said the FBI had taken his phone and was going to question him the next day. She said he asked again if she had destroyed the evidence and asked about her phone, which she buried the next day on her property. See? She buried it on her property. Very good. Very smart lady. He told her to stick to the story, stay cool, and don't say much. But when she was at a national rodeo event in Las Vegas on December the 14th, boy, she just went on with her life, didn't she? She just went on with her life. She was contacted by the FBI agent. But she was not surprised. And her ex-husband had called the night before saying FBI agents came to his father's house looking for her. At the time, she told her ex that she was being framed and told him the whole story. She and Frazee had, cahoosed and, made that story up. And she said she lied to the agent at that time, saying she was scared that if she didn't cooperate with Frazee, that something would happen to her or her daughter. I knew that it was coming, but I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't know how to handle the situation. She told the agents that she didn't know who Berreth was and that she had last seen Frazee 1.5 months ago. She returned from Las Vegas 2 days later. The next morning, FBI Colorado Bureau investigation agents were at her door with a search warrant with some buccal swabs. And they told her they knew she had lied, and she agreed. And that the agents told her she could be helpful, and she agreed to cooperate, but also said she would hire an attorney. And KK said that she was willing to cooperate now that the FBI and the CBI agents, because she finally felt safe. Yeah, everybody's dead now, right? And that she provided her statement to the investigators on December the 20th and did a site tour of Kelsey's home, the Frazee Ranch and Ness Ranch. The next day, giving up all the alleged details about the case, including what she says Frazee told her were Berreth's last words. Please stop. This is Kelseys Berreths' last words. Please stop.